One second. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is Time for Art. I'm your host, Hershey Petty. If you take a look out at your Time for Art calendar, you'll see today is May 9th, and we're going to be working on the 3 ice cream cones today. We're going to be drawing from scratch and then painting the ice cream cones in our sketchbook today, because remember, we're going to be doing the real drawing and painting on Wednesday. So don't forget to set that in your calendars. So we'll see you then for that. Let's see, that for anybody who's new, I know this is what it was like the second full week now in May, but if this is your first time joining us online, which you don't have to do, you guys could be at home, and you're not even listening to me talk right now. So then you don't even hear this. But if it is your first time logging in with us to the live streams, Allison is going to go through the instruction. She's going to break down the drawing so that it's edible, and for everybody, it's going to be such a treat. Those are 2 puns for the confections. But so you are welcome to follow along with her as much as you can. You're welcome to sit back and enjoy what's happening in the comment section. That's where we all hang out and chat with each other and share jokes and say hi and do all that kind of fun stuff. So we encourage you to please interact with us in the comment section. Say hello to your fellow artists. Say hello to me. Say hello to Allison. Just say hello, do whatever you want in there. You can do whatever you want. You certainly don't have to follow along. If you don't want to follow along, or if you are following along and you get behind, don't worry. This isn't one of those things where if you keep up, you get left behind. You're gonna be able to look at this video on YouTube and Facebook the very minute that we're done with this broadcast. It'll be available for you there. And there you can slow it down, you can pause, you can do whatever you need to do if you want to, take your time with it. So some of us like to go with Allison, and some of us like to just have a good time and watch, and then we do it later on our free time. So it doesn't matter, it's up to you, and everyone is welcome to this. So whether you're a subscriber or you've been with us for a while, or you're just checking us out to see if this is something you're interested in, welcome. We're excited to have you. Let's introduce our resident artist, Allison Crary. Hi, Al.
Hi, Hershey. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
It's a draw day. Draw days are my favorite days.
Ew.
They're just really, really great and relaxing, and we sit and draw, and everyone gets something, I think, that's really great, and everybody learns, and it's really fun. So what's different today than most of our draw days is you have not 1 but 2 acetate grids that are also the size of your reference. We're going to use these tonight. We're not going to use them until when we check our work. We're also only going to do 1 drawing tonight, not 2, because we're just going to sit and enjoy ourselves and take our time. So there's that too. And you're going to need your graphite paper, the dark one, your sketchbooks, pencil and eraser. And then I think it's always good to hinge your graphite paper, or to hinge the reference for the graphite paper. So I'd say grab a label, grab some tape, any of the above, and we will get started. Shout out to everyone who posted their ice cream sundae. Or showed it to me. It was a really great group.
Yes.
And we loved it. And so, okay, so to get our
quick, speaking of the posting to the subscriber group, I just want to remind everybody that the tablet challenge, don't forget, is going to be due the last Friday before the end of the month, which is the 20th. All right. So don't forget.
And what's our inspiration, Hershey?
What's that?
Spot with your hands in the cookie jar.
That's right.
That's our inspiration. In any capacity, we will talk to you. That's the motivation. So yeah, get on and say hi. And in the meantime, go ahead and hinge your reference lightly to a blank sheet of paper in your sketchbooks. And then tuck your graphite paper, sticky, waxy, shiny side down. And in this case, I just want you to mark off the 4 corners of your reference. And then the thirds. If this is your first time, we break our drawings into thirds. So I'm just making little marks on your thirds, just like that. So you can see them. And then on your reference, just be sure to really mark them off so you can see them. They can be hard to see. We don't want them to be distracting, but we don't, we want them to be visible. So we print those to the best of our ability. They are easier to see sometimes and not others. And then we're going to peel this guy off. And we're going to be left with our box. And then I'm just going to take the edge of the cardstock and kind of make a box here.
Okay.
With how this goes. We're trying different ways to print this. And this is the way we got to.
I just want to say how awesome I think these acetate grids?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think they're so cool.
Right? Yeah, we've been working on, we like to spend time learning to draw, but we don't want it to be, we never want it to be too much. We want you to enjoy painting. Mm-hmm. And so for that reason, I've been thinking of and kind of, we've tried it a few different ways. And to check your work, this is going to be a really great tool to use. Yeah. So you need both of them. You don't just need one of them. And we won't need them for a while. Okay, so you are done with your black graphite transfer paper. Put that aside, you won't need it again. We are just going to draw our ice cream sundaes. And we're gonna draw them, if it's your first time, we're looking at the subject matter in relationship to the markings on the picture plane that we have. And I think the best way to start with this one is actually to work from the inside out. I like to do that with things with some symmetry. And so I think I am going to start with where the cherry goes. And I'm looking at the base of the cherry, and it sits almost directly in the middle of our first third.
Yes.
And it comes up, if you look at this space right here, it comes up almost not quite to half. So maybe 1/3 up. So we'll put our cherry right here, base of our cherry. And then I'm going to count down from the top to the tip of our cone here. And that actually is, if you look, it's a little off-centered. So I would say if this is our center, our cone comes a little bit slightly to the right. And also I would say this is about, I'd say this is 25% down if we're counting from the bottom down. So if halfway is here, I think the tip of our cone falls probably right about here. So these are the two marks I've made. This is where our cherry ends, and this is where our cone begins.
Okay.
The next thing, let's go ahead and put the top for cherry in. So cherry is, I don't know, maybe 5/8 of an inch up, since we're working to scale here. So I think the top of the cherry probably falls right here. And then I am going to look at where the ice cream meets the cone. All right.
All right.
And that is going to be, it's higher on this side and lower on this side. So if this is our, where it overlaps this third mark and it hits, I'm going to say about a 1/2 inch up from here in space this way. So our ice cream meets the cone kind of right here on this side and just above the line over here. So let's do some drawing. All right.
Good.
And our cone begins and ends here and is fairly symmetrical. Our cone comes out like this and out like this. Our ice cream sits on top of our cone and it starts kind of at this mark. This is almost in line with the tip, maybe a little bit to the left. And then cone kind of ends right here. Our ice cream sits right about here. Our cherry sits on top of our ice cream right here. And the stem comes out like that. So that's a basic overview of where this cone kind of goes. Now we can kind of come in and sort of add to it, right? So the waffle part kind of wraps around here and hits right kind of where the this sort of point comes together. This looks a little bit more like this. There's this kind of crumble on top we can put in for reference.
The chat section is they're chatting about their, remember we talked about Pottermore and the houses?
Yes.
Melinda took her test finally, and she is a Hufflepuff, like Melissa and myself.
Confirmed.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Very, very good to know.
Do you guys remember, anybody in the comment section? Do you guys remember what house Allison's from? Anybody?
Oh yeah, that's an important thing to bring up. All right, let's spend some time on that. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, moving on. Touch me in the comment. Yeah.
All right. So we have our first ice cream cone upside down in. And this isn't a perfectly shaped sort of scoop. There's some variation in the contour over here. We can get into the strawberries in a minute. And I'm looking at mine. I think mine's a little wide. How important is that? Debatable. But I am going to kind of make my cone more narrow. First glance. So, little preview here. If you take grid and you drop one grid on top, and you take your grid,
yes,
you drop your other grid, top of your reference, look what we have.
Yes.
We can start making some comparisons. So really I'm way too wide is what this is showing me. If you look, right? So I'm about right on my, maybe this is a little deep. I could pick up my cherry a little bit, but this is about right here. But
yeah,
and I'm not bad on this side actually either, but there is a substantial difference on this side. And it's looking like this needs to fall right about here. So, knowledge is power. You don't have to make the adjustment. Which you want. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tighten up my cone here. And so it's actually more like this. Like this. And it's just a tool to be used exactly like that. And I'm adjusting accordingly. And my cherry, it's a little tighter.
Man, I love these grids.
Right?
Yes.
But you want to figure it out and do all the measurements, visually first. And then it's just there to kind of help you out.
Yeah.
Not to belabor. Don't get too hung up on them.
I actually think that without the grids, I would belabor it more. I would be like, is this right? This is off. And with the grids, I'm like, nope, this is where it's supposed to be. I'm good.
Yeah. And then you walk away.
Yep.
All right. And they're just there for you. You never have to use them, or you can use them a whole bunch, but that's why we've started including them, because we're kind of working on this. Okay, so I think we're going to take our ice cream here. We can look at them again, see if I made some good adjustments here. And yeah, that's close enough. This is still too tight. This is like,
these waffle cones look absolutely delicious.
right?
Yes. All right.
See, this is what happens when you get the grids out. Okay, this kind of comes like this. Yeah, that's looking better. This is kind of happening. This might be happening a little high. All right, we're gonna closer. Kind of.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream, Allison?
Rainbow sherbet.
Oh, that's a really
Without a
good one.
doubt.
Without a doubt, huh?
Yeah, Jenny's in Chicago makes a really good one. It's like a buttermilk one, and it is so good. Not a sponsor, Jenny's.
Oh.
Just like okay, so we're gonna let this go. I'm closer, but yeah, this is a lot more narrow than I made it, and that's why these grids are really helpful. And then I think actually we're gonna move that just like that. Okay, next, what I'm actually gonna do is say, okay, if you look at, if this is a triangle, and there is about, for me, it's about a finger width on each side of our cone. I'm going to go ahead and make kind of some channels here as guides. So it's parallel to the edge of the cone. Just like that. And that's how we're going to set up our next two cones. And so this one starts about measuring from a third over, maybe a ½ inch over and 3/4 of an inch up. It's below the cherry. So the cherry sits up higher. Same thing here. Here's our third mark. This one starts, I would say, 3/4 of an inch over and a ½ inch up. So here are the two bases of our other cones. And it's not going to exactly line up with these lines I made, but it's just kind of a nice kind of, we know they're going to fit in these sort of regions over here. And then same thing over here. This, I'd say the center of our vanilla ice cream cone hits right about here. So that's maybe a third into our, this third region. So that's right here. And then, so this is the top, falls below the top of the cone. So the center is right about here. So that's in line with our base. So that looks good. And let's go ahead and put this guy in. So the scoop, the very bottom of the scoop right here is about 20, a quarter down from this third mark. So this falls probably right about here, and our cone falls here. Let's go ahead and draw this guy in. So scoop sits right about here. And again, these are to be crossed, but. And then we get this kind of fun ripply ice cream edge. And then this is where our cone's gonna start, and we're not gonna make our cones as wide as I did before. I learned. When we draw with pencils, and drawing is all about putting a mark down and taking a look and seeing how that should kind of come back, you know.
Yeah. Use your eraser just as much as your
Use
pencil.
your eraser just as much as your pencil. And you know what? You get a little more proficient at it until you're like, nope, I am still way too, and that's just fun. And then we've got this topping thing. This starts about 25% up from, I'm a little high on this. This falls more like down here. This topping starts, let's say a third of the way up. So that's kind of going on over here. The cookie starts about here, ends about here. Drop this in.
Allison, real quick, I know right before we went live, you let me know that that Nana Brown had gotten over the stomach flu, and she's out there watching. And I just want to say, I'm glad you're feeling better, Nana. We love you. Thank you for watching.
Yes, yes. Hershey is having a little bit of a stomach bug issue going on right now.
I'm feeling better though. Thank God. Yeah. But yeah, just like Nana, I'm better. So.
Yeah, just like Nana, he's better. All right, and then the waffle kind of wraps, and I'm just looking kind of at this sort of pizza wedge shape right here. Gonna make that over here. Drop our grids, see how we did. And I am well, I'm high with the top of my cone here. So the top I put up here falls more so right about here. So that kind of tightens things up. And it's kind of a dramatic difference. Look at that.
What is?
When I move the top of my ice cream down.
Oh, yeah.
It's important. So this kind of comes around here. This space looks pretty good. Just like that. Our cookie.
Do you know the name of those cookies? Did I already ask you that?
I know Pepperidge Farm does one called a pirouette, I believe. There's our cookie. We can drop some nuts on top. Hershey, how do you feel about nuts on ice cream?
I'm a huge fan.
As am I. It's that like salty, crunchy.
And I think it adds a lot of texture, you know, like, a good texture, you know, like I've had ice cream. I had ice cream one time that had gummy bears in it. That wasn't such good texture.
Do you remember the Dairy Queen Nerds Blizzard?
Yes, I do.
It had a following. I wasn't so much into it, but I feel like that's kind of up there with the gummy bear.
Yeah, I'm also not a fan.
Not what I want in ice cream.
Exactly.
All right. So we got this cone in for now. We're going to move over here and get this off. This we said started here. It's going to end at the same horizontal that this guy does. So I'm going to make a mark right there. The sort of smile of the cone happens right underneath this third mark right here. And I am going to go ahead and draw in my cone. The scoop. The cookie kind of comes right out of here. It's actually closer really to the top than to the side. That's sort of noteworthy. I'm too high again. They're kind of like polite little cones. They're not like double scoop. It's right here. It's got another stripe going in the other direction. This one has some hot fudge, maybe chocolate syrup coming. This first strip kind of comes down. The next one right here, almost directly in the middle. This one comes all the way down. And this one over there with some negative space. You have some nuts on top. Looks like there's 3 on this side before you get to the middle. It's one way to kind of see how many you need. 2 on this side. Don't get too worried if your nuts don't quite align. All right. And in this case, we have another sort of pizza wedge. Comes around here. Down here. And I think this one's going to end up being a little wide for sure. So I'm looking at the space right here. And that's closer to more like this. All right, so that is 1, 2, 3 ice cream cones. We're going to check our work here. And on mine, this one, though a little wide, it's hitting about right here. This one overlaps more into this space and less. So I kind of separated these out a little bit more, but that's, I'm going to go ahead and leave that.
Okay.
It's lining up. All right. I think we're good. I think we can put our grids away.
All right.
If they helped us, we appreciate them. How does everyone like the grids? Let us know.
We're kind of, I wasn't going to tell you because I know you don't like to hear the praise and whatnot, but you've been called the fearless leader. You've been, I mean.
Oh, good. Yeah. We like grids, or are they annoying?
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone sound off about the grids. We'll see. I'll take a look.
We want to know. All right. So now we're going to put in our kind of waffles, and I'm going to kind of draw them by way of stripe, right?
Okay.
So this one kind of has this stripe right here. And then we get kind of 2 rows out of it. So there's one here, one here, one there. This one has 1, 2, 3, and then a little one down here, 4 stripes. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we get a 4th stripe down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 stripes down. So we're not going to worry too much about where those begin and end. But they're at this kind of circuitous angle.
Circuitous?
Well, it's not straight. It's kind of going around the cone, right? Did I make that up just now? Oh.
I don't know. I've never heard of it, but I'm sure you have a much larger vocabulary than me, but yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. And then the trick here, we'll do it on the other ones too. But the trick here is that the lines we made, you kind of want to put a box into each one for the cones, for the sort of waffle parts. That's kind of that's the texture. Again, if you want to, at any point you're like, that's getting too tedious, don't like it. But that is kind of how this cone came to be. I know because I made it. So we did our measurements.
So you drew the lines, but then you drew a box in each one?
You draw a box in each line, in each box.
Yeah.
And that's the waffle imprint.
Got you. Okay. That has a lot of texture.
It's a lot of texture. We'll do some erasing. But if you kind of drop, and mine aren't perfect. If you drop a box in each box you made, that is how this cone was originally painted. And when you go to paint this, you have an outline, so you don't have to worry about this, but there we go.
Pull your lines, you have them pretty.
Yes. And actually, this isn't a tough one for line. I don't predict we're gonna have a hard time with that.
All right.
Actually, because you do the base of the cone first, and then you just put your lines right on top. So we're gonna move on to the next one. Same drill. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and kind of a fifth at the bottom. So I'm gonna put in the little gratuitous fifth at the bottom right here, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, these lines kind of circuitously wrap around the cone.
The feedback so far, we've got feedback from Michelle Poor. She says she loves it for the orientation.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Don't get too hung up on it, but yeah. And then we're gonna catch a few. It's almost, I think it's 2. It looks like 1, 2 on this side. Then I'm gonna count off how many sort of cross stripes we have. What did I call them before? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would help if I could count. 12 again. So we're just going to kind of wrap 12. I don't know if that's 12, it's close. Okay. And then we got one this way. And so this is kind of where that break is. Make sure you can still see that. And you're going to drop little squares into those boxes. Smaller squares.
And on the wraparound,
Mm-hmm.
the middle cone, and for the one on the first cone, it just looks like those squares kind of reset, right? They're not in the same. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So we're just dropping these in, taking our time. We're only doing one drawing tonight. Feedback, is everyone enjoying not doing 2 drawings? Spending some time.
Probably.
This also has some there's like some excess here, like at the edge of the waffle iron. But it looks like there's 2 whole ones right there. And then over here, looks like we actually have 1, 2, 3 rows. One's itty bitty. 1, 2, and then 3 with some change. And then here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go 12. Let's just, I'm done counting. Let's say there's,
Yes.
and that's what it's there to help you. You can get as technical as you want. And then at a certain point, you're like, yeah, I get it. It's about that many.
Did you draw this out before painting it, or did you just paint to paper?
Did I draw this out? It was a long time ago.
Oh, it was? Okay, yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. It was.
I don't remember. I've done it twice. I know that. But yeah. Okay. And the same thing, you're gonna put a box inside each region. And all the little halves or fragments of regions, just like that. And then we're going to look at all of it. And I think what we're missing at this point are some of these really great strawberry chunks.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be chunks in ice cream. I want them to be like the size of grapes. I want, and so my trick here is what are the biggest ones and where do the biggest ones go? So there's this shape right here. It's maybe shaped like a top or feather duster, like Beauty and the Beast feather. What I just came up with. And so I'm going to make sure this one kind of gets in right here. And it kind of has something that kind of comes off of it right here. Then down here is the second biggest one. This one's kind of shaped like an M. And then we've got, looks like 4 marks. Kind of go this way.
Michelle just chimed in. She says that she would love it if Allison taped all of her painting videos along with the 2 times a week live streams.
So they exist actually.
Yeah.
Michelle, if you want those, shoot me. Yeah, we'll get them to you.
They exist with your commentary too, don't they?
Yeah, but we have the first, we have a whole, they were unpopular, our videos. And so we stopped making them. All right, so there's some strawberries. So, okay, let's take a look here. I'm gonna do some erasing. I'm gonna erase my guidelines. Any Harrys that came out of from my sketching, all of those are gonna go away. Our little hairlines. Our center lines, I say we leave for now because we're going to make the interior sort of boxes we made darker. And then if we see some dark lines, but the first thing we're going to do, and this is how I was taught to do it, and it takes a little bit of practice, but if you squint your eyes at your reference, you see how much darker your reference is than the white of the paper next to it and the subject matter in it. So Hershey, how dark a gray would we want to make that, would you say? Red of the background or the coral of the background?
Pretty dark, I think. No?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to call that like sort of an upper medium gray. And this pencil only gets so dark. So I'd actually say, and then if you look at your paper and you squint and you look at your reference, yeah, that's pretty close. So we're going to just fill in our background first. And color is relative. So this just kind of gives us something to bounce off of. And everyone's mark is a little bit different. But the important thing here is that we're getting about this dark in our background. And take your time. I'm going to kind of go back in. I'm getting some graphite down. Hershey, are you drawing along?
I am.
What challenges have you had with this so far?
The cones have been my cones seem a little sloppy, but I just feel like they feel like they're like a little bulbous instead of straight on like a V.
I would say I had the same problem, kind of. I made mine divide.
I think that I think I can fix that when I paint it,
Certainly. Or this is what your drawing looks like.
Yeah, right.
And we did it, and it's how we spent our Monday draw day. And you thank it for what it taught you. You turn the page. So certainly you can fix it. You can go back in. So I'm doing just kind of one pass to get it so dark. And then I'm going to go back in and see where I want to apply a little bit more graphite.
Happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Absolutely.
Including the fur moms.
Oh yeah. Hey, I qualify.
Yeah.
Marvin didn't get me anything.
He didn't.
Can you believe it?
I can. I know Marvin. I can believe that.
A selfish man, for Hershey. Marvin loved Hershey so much. And Marvin doesn't love everyone, but he really loved Hershey. And Hershey has a little bit of an allergy to dogs that shed. And Marvin is an exceptional shedder. He wins. He is the most shedding dog that's ever walked. And Hershey, you can see it in the pictures. His eyes are like swelling up.
He's a good guy.
He is a good guy. But so is Hershey. And sat on the floor and pet Marvin.
I remember I took him for a walk. And that you warned me against. You said, don't do it. I said, he'll be fine. You said, don't do it. I said, he'll be fine. He was not fine.
He hates walks.
Yes, he
So I'm just looking to see where there's still white of my paper, and I'm filling it in.
I got one of these, Allison. These are from an art kit that I bought, and it's a smudger, and I love it.
Yeah, you like your smudger.
I love my smudger.
So I am more of a mark maker than a smudger, but if you like smudgers, we'll start carrying them.
No, I have one. I mean, no.
Yeah.
Why
would anyone else want one?
You can use a paper towel and you put your finger in it, and then you use that. You can use anything. I've been, but it does have a really cool effect.
Yeah. All right, let's. I'm good. All right. I'm gonna say if I had something smudge worthy. All right. We got our background filled in. Now we give it another squint. What else is that dark?
The chocolate.
Certainly the chocolate. So we can fill in our chocolate.
The cherries.
Cherry. The dark spots
Mhm.
are strawberries. Could be cherries. This could be cherry Garcia. Cherry Garcia, I guess I'd never tried it, is delicious. You had it?
Yes, I have.
I don't know what I was, there's chocolate in it?
It's so good.
So good. And actually, if you look, our chocolate and our cherry are actually darker than our background. So
You're right.
can etch that in there. But yeah, if Hershey, if you like the smudger,
Yeah.
then we'll start carrying smudgers at the store. And we'll see if anyone else wants one.
I think it just kind of took my drawings to the next level. You know,
Okay.
that it's
Yeah.
for my eyes anyways.
Or it's how you like to make marks. You like a softer mark.
Yeah.
My paintings have a softer kind of tone to them. All right, and then I have chocolate over here. Getting that in. This chocolate looks like that really cocoa-y, like fudgesicle.
Yeah.
It's not like a devil's food or it's that softer. All right, and I'm just gonna kind of clean up some areas now that a little more is in. Can you see this? Am I getting kind of glary?
It is a little glary, but yeah, we could see it.
Is that best? How's that, Hershey?
That looks good. That looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm just gonna kind of find my drawing again. And then what are the next darkest areas, Hershey?
The next darkest areas are going to be like the sides of the cone
I would agree.
and
like
the cookies.
Here. And then I would say this sort of transition right here.
Where at?
The transition.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just going to kind of reestablish our edges here. So our next darkest areas are, let's go ahead and we're going to, I like the sides of the cones. Let's get that in. That's got some shadow. One here. Here. Just like that. There is this transition up. So this gets kind of not about as dark as the background.
What would you say the flavors of these three ice creams are?
So the first one's chocolate.
Mhm.
I think the center one is like a strawberry or a cherry. Again, no reason you can't put cherry on top of strawberry ice cream.
That's right.
And then I think it's a French vanilla.
Nice.
What do you think?
I'm with you on all of them. I think the last one might be a vanilla bean.
Oh, I love vanilla bean. Subtle.
Subtle.
Right here. here. We get our stripes back in. Okay, and then kind of last but not least, there's a little bit of darkness on this edge. This gets a little bit darker actually on this side, just a touch. This area right along the crinkle kind of gets a little bit darker. So we started off with a template and we painted ice cream. Then we started with no template today and we drew our ice cream. And
We're
then
such good artists.
aren't we? Aren't we doing our due diligence?
Yes.
And then, as promised, all those little squares you drew in before, very lightly kind of etch in. Just like that. Wasn't it nice to just relax and only do one?
It was really nice. And the comments were fun today. Thank you, everybody, for that.
Let's hear some.
But we were just, you're talking about how great you are. Teacher Appreciation Week.
Let's stop with the comments.
I knew you wouldn't want to hear them.
We have the best community.
Yeah, we do.
We have the absolute best community. And thank you for being patient with us. I'm erasing some of those guidelines now. I'm kind of going back in. But we've had to figure a lot of things out with this. And it's such a labor of love to get to do it with all of you. And we're figuring out, we're going to start doing a better job of sending email reminders and links to our live streams if you missed them, and challenge.
Quick question: do we have are those videos that Michelle's actually interested in those
in the videos? Excellent. Yeah. What we could very easily do. So they're long. All right. They are several. I wouldn't say several. Well, they are long videos that go over an hour, and it's just me painting that we intended on editing and making videos from that nobody liked, which is fine. I didn't like them either. And we instead have moved to doing it live. But if you are interested, we could put those on YouTube, the whole thing, cradle to grave, and we maybe we play some music behind them.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea. Yeah, it's not Hershey's not in them. It's not as much fun. But so now I'm just
these were recorded in Long Beach or your house.
Long Beach, yes. Was it over a year ago? Hershey has some of the original paintings, actually.
Yes, I do. Yes,
that were made. But, we have 18 hours of more than that, 18 videos. So
Michelle wants to know about how you drew the template drawings. Are there videos of you making those?
There aren't, but I mean, the template drawings are all done in an app called Procreate.
Oh, that's right. You use Procreate.
Yeah. And what it is with the template drawings, I just look for fun stuff that I would want to sit and paint.
Yeah, I forgot you used Procreate. That's so cool.
I love, we certainly not a sponsor, but they do a very good job.
Certainly not a sponsor.
Yeah, but check out Procreate, you'll have a good time. All right, so not the greatest with the glare today, but here is our sketch. And here is a reference. And it's about 8 o'clock.
Hey.
So I think I'm
Good
gonna call
try
it
on
go ahead and sign this guy. I will post mine. Hershey, will you post yours?
100%.
All right. Well, so we'll see you Wednesday. We're gonna paint this guy. And thank you so much for joining us. And
Yes.
yeah, keep your challenges in mind. Post to the group. We love seeing your work. And thanks for drawing with us tonight.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys, everybody. Bye, Allison. I'll see you Wednesday.
Bye, Hershey. We'll see you Wednesday.